I hope when you came in, you looked at some of the posters that are up on either side of the stage here. And I hope that you took just a few minutes to kind of look at it and see what it says. So we're going to kind of go through these and get a little bit of a reaction from you at the end to see what you think. They're staggering. They're staggering. They're not sustainable. These are the words that we kind of hear when we look at the numbers based on where we are as a church, where we are as people of God. And you'll hear from the bishop on this, as this is not just pertaining to the Catholic Church, but it definitely is within the Catholic Church as well. This pertains to every denomination. These are the numbers that we're seeing. So some of the statistics that we want to talk about here real quick is 80% of Catholics leave the church before they turn 23 years old. 80%. For every one convert to Catholic Christianity, 6 leave the church. The percentage of Americans who identify as Christians have dropped 7% since 2007. Since 2007, the number of Catholics in the United States declined by 3 million. 70% of Catholics who left said that they gradually just drifted away. 43% said their spiritual needs were just simply not being met. 50% of millennials born between 80 and 95 raised Catholic no longer identify as Catholic. That's half. 25% of Americans identify themselves as no religion or none. Not as Sister Kelly none, but none as in not anything at all. That is the highest percentage on record. 10% of all American adults are former Catholics. Half of these declare as the nuns. No religion at all. 1/4 of the Catholics who leave the church become evangelicals. But we see these numbers in that denomination as well. 64% of the nuns were raised in religious homes. 60% of the nuns said the reason that they left was because they stopped believing their faith and its teachings. 60% of the nuns said that they do still believe in God, but 66% of them said religion causes more problems than it solves. How many of you have heard that? Despite population growth in the Diocese of Biloxi since 2006, church growth basically has been stagnant. What do you think about these numbers? What thoughts come to your mind when you see this? Our church isn't growing. Our church isn't moving. Why not? What are these numbers saying to you personally as you hear them? You know, we hear things such as, well, I mean, how do you fix that? Or what do we do about it? Good news. That's why we're here today. All of these statistics are unsettling. But we know that we serve a God who's way bigger than all of these things. But here's the other piece to it, is we play a part in that. For years we've said it's left up to the bishop, the priest, the religious, brothers and sisters, and deacons. That's no longer the case. It has to be us. And when we recognize like our call and our baptismal responsibility to seek out in being disciples for other people and walking alongside of them, that's when these numbers will change. When we start walking in our everyday life, when we start doing these same things that we're asking others to do in their call to holiness. You see, God's calling us to something extravagant, to something great. He's calling us to understand and to live with Him and in union with Him, and to hand that on to every person that we meet. How awesome would it be to walk in our parishes and the pews be full? Well, when's the last time that you invited anybody to come to Mass with you? You see, as a Catholic Church, we cannot rely on someone to do it for us. But it's time for us to become active participants in evangelization. The Lord is calling us to go deeper. So how is He calling you today? as you hear these messages, what is speaking within, ringing within your heart about how he's calling you to grow? So we're going to check out this video real quick of one that we have on intentional discipleship, and then we'll begin our time.
Disciple is someone that has fallen in love with Jesus Christ, knows that he or she is saved in the power of God's mercy, and wants to respond to that call to live out the gospel of the world. So it's someone who prays, someone who reads the Bible, someone who's active in church, celebrates the Eucharist, makes other disciples, and works for justice and charity in the world.
Of all time, probably St. Paul. And without a doubt, you can see once his encounter with Christ generated that personal response in his life, he spent the rest of his life proclaiming Christ and calling others to their responsibility to the church. He moved around unlike anyone we've ever seen, with passion unlike anyone else we've ever seen. And that's because he understood that he was given a mission by Christ.